Roger Murphy's with me this morning from Sula Iron Gold. Roger, good morning.
Andrew, always a pleasure to see you.
A big day for you with the name change to Africa Battery Metals.
That's it.
Talk us through the change.
Well, the name change reflects the change in strategy of the company. We've been aware for some time, as everybody else has, of the strong fundamentals for battery metals, cobalt in particular. The price has more than doubled this year, and every broker's forecast is that prices continue to stay strong as supply significantly lags growth in demand. Of course, demand itself is driven by all the massive growth in electric vehicles, other battery and batteries generally, and through the relationships we have with Medini, of which of course I'm a partner as well, which is the private group. One of the partners of Medini is a Congolese metallurgist. So we've been looking at cobalt assets for some time, and we took the opportunity to bring some of those assets, ones we really liked, into Sula, raise some money, and to reflect the focus of the company, which will turn towards battery metals. We've renamed the company African Battery Metals.
So tell me more about these projects, these licenses you've acquired in the Congo.
There's two licenses. They're both in southern Congo, which is the source of 2/3 of the world's cobalt. Similar geology, close to, particularly Kasinka, the more advanced asset, close to half a dozen or so existing large mines. Close to Lubumbashi as well, which is a regional capital, about 30 kilometers. And we've done some work on them. We've did some site visits in advance, our own due diligence before acquiring them. And independent geologists have collected grades of cobalt on the licenses of up to 2.5% in artisanal pits. There's evidence of artisanal work on them, and we want to start. We will hit the ground running next week, and with our own geologists to start exploring and moving towards de-risking them.
Well, tell us a bit more about those exploration plans. What's in store?
Well, as I say, we'll be on the ground from next week. We'll start with trenching, pitting. Right. We'll do some regional mapping as well. We've got what everybody in the industry uses, what's called an XRF gun, which you point it at the rock and it gives you a reasonably accurate estimate of the grade. We've bought a couple of those and we'll be using those. So the first phase of exploration will be trying to kind of identify the scale of the opportunity. At the back end of this program, we have factored in some drilling, but we won't be spending as much on drilling as we did in Sierra Leone at Ferran Solar. We'll be doing some geophysics, and I think the next 3 or 4 months, probably, from early February, we'll see a lot of news flow from us.
And you got a good team in place there?
Yeah, and we're actually formalising our relationship with Medini, very strong geologist, very strong metallurgist, and they will be leading and managing the program using local geologists to do that exploration.
There could be a perception among some that the Congo could be a reasonably risky place to do business. Is that fair?
Look, I think, what people don't realise is that Congo is as big as Western Europe, and I'd say that London is a lot safer than some parts. We've seen recent problems in some parts of Eastern Europe. So there are very dangerous parts of Congo, but Katanga, which is where 2/3 of the world's cobalt comes from, and a lot of the world's copper, by the way, because they're mined together, is one of the safest parts of Congo, and that's where we'll be operating.
And where does this leave your assets in Sierra Leone? Are they still an important part of the business?
For sure. We spend a lot of money on them. There's a lot of gold there. What we've concluded is that the mineralization of the structural controls on the gold are complicated, and we would probably going to explore a farm out or a joint venture to see whether we can attract a larger company to use sort of a greater exploration budget on them. But they remain core, and we will be doing some work on them over the next few months.
And these licenses you've got in the Congo, you're the sole owner of these, are you?
No. The way we've structured, we're incorporating a local company. Right. We will own 70%. The vendor of the who's a Congolese lawyer and businessman, will own 30%. He is free carried through to a decision to mine, after which he either carries his share of the capital to build a mine, or more likely he would dilute at that time, or perhaps even flip his stake into African Battery Metals. I mean, one thing I want to say, it's a reasonably widely asked question in regard to the Congo is around child labour. And as somebody, and all my partners as well, who've run and operated and worked in mines around the world, we will have zero tolerance for that. You know, we will be completely ethical and above board. You know, it's not just sort of what the law says we should do, but it's actually a personal view as well.
I know it's early days, in fact, just day one for African battery metals.
Sure.
But are you looking around for other opportunities in the Congo, be it cobalt or other metals?
I think cobalt is sort of the main address. Sorry, Congo is the main address for cobalt. 2/3 of the world's cobalt, and I think everybody's running around elsewhere and they're looking for cobalt. Most mineralization outside Congo of cobalt seems to have quite high levels of arsenic, and I don't think that's something that people have really looked at in detail yet. So cobalt, yes, Congo. And are there other licenses we're interested in? Yes, there are. Are we looking at them right now? No, but we do think there's a land grab, and as time progresses, we may look at other licenses as well, because we think we have the right management to kind of identify the right assets and de-risk them well. So yes, but then further out, the rest of the region has a lot of other battery metals. There's quite a lot of lithium around southern Africa. Vanadium is a metal that interests me. It's not so much used in portable batteries, but the big batteries that save surge capacity from big wind farms and big solar plants use vanadium, and that's something that you find around as well, around southern Africa. So over time, we may diversify. For the next few months, maybe the next year or so, it's cobalt in Congo and trying to drive forward there.
Well, you're clearly confident and excited about the months ahead. Is this something that shareholders should be equally as excited about
sure,
as part of the new chapter for the business?
Well, in order to save cash in Sula for the last 6 months, I didn't pay myself anything, and all that kind of deferred payment I took in stock at the price. So I think there's a massive opportunity. I think battery metals, it's a structural secular change. The world is driving towards clean power, electric vehicles, and doing away with internal combustion engines, which are a major source of greenhouse gases, and we want to be part of that. So I think we're jumping onto a long-term growth sector, and we hope to be an important part of that.
And of course, you recently raised was it 1.7 million?
1.75 million.
1.75. Right, so you got enough cash? You comfortable there?
Yeah, part of the money went to buy back the Riverfort facility, which was a condition of some of the investors. Riverfort was great for us. It was almost like sort of finance at a time when we needed it, but it was the right time to buy it back, and that was with that gone, we still have plenty of cash, and we will be putting that cash to work and trying to drive news flow to make shareholders money as we move towards, I hope, ultimately being cobalt copper miners.
Roger, always good to see you. Thanks very much.
Andrew, it's always a pleasure.